Hello everybody, Realm Builder Guy here, and welcome back to the channel, and some more Richard the Lionheart Crusader Kings 3. Once again, thank you for everybody that's been watching this little mini-series. I know Let's Play series don't get the most views, but that's okay. I enjoy making these, and I hope the few of you that watch them also enjoy watching them. If that's the case, hitting that like button will really help this series and the channel moving forward. All right, so we got a whole bunch of stuff going on here right now with Richard. First things first, we're going to look up here. We do have some people we can ransom, but I'm not really focused on that just yet. I mean, maybe we can for a little bit of cash, but the main thing is we're dealing with two rebellions here. Burgundian Rebellion, essentially, claim on, a war going on here. So Defender, it's all about France. I mean, really, this is about France, and then we have our own independence war here. Against, well, it's not that easy. We got 12,000 soldiers on our side. They have 15,000 on their side to kind of break up the English holdings here in France. So we're dealing with that. Right now, our troops are sitting over here in Langres, about 6 days away from this, which has now been taken care of. Of course, we call in our allies, and we have the Castilian War. All right, so now we're in war with Castile as well. But first, we'll try to take care of... It's like taking care of these one by one. We've got a large Saxon host here heading south. You know, we can move our troops back to friendly territories to try to help against the rebellion or try to save French territories. I mean, right now it's kind of we're not really going to help the French. We just have to try to stave off the rebellion we're dealing with domestically. And that's going to be quite the chore, given the size of the rebellious forces. So we've got one battle where we've engaged here in Maine, and then we will start heading south and ideally taking on some of the other rebels. So we can see there are the Portuguese have come in and landed there. So we're going to head on over. See if we can... We won't be able to make it in time, but we're of a large enough size that we could possibly take on the attackers and try to chase them around to engage them in a battle one at a time. It looks like it's going to be... Chances are even if we engage here. And this is a rather large one. We've got some reinforcements. Some allies have come in, and that will sway the tide of this rather important battle. All right, so that battle has been won. And now let's take a quick look strategically. Where do we want to go next? We've got some Castilian armies here all the way in the south that we're dealing with. Not overly concerned with them. That's just a war that I almost feel like we're gonna have to lose. This war that's going on here, which is of course the Burgundian claim on Langres, that's honestly something our wife and France have to deal with on their own. Here, our internal one, Brittany is the war leader. So let's send our forces up north to besiege their capital. and see if that can make a difference for us in turning the tide of this rebellion. We see Le Mans is currently under siege for 4 months. Our siege here will be 4 months. They've broken off that siege. So now with the Aragonese forces are also joining us here. And the Portuguese are besieging there. And a small Duchy of Brittany force has come to have battle here that they're going to lose. We can see here the Burgundian claim. They've lost a lot of war score. But we are just focusing on the siege of Gwynedd, which would make a big difference for us. So there's a call to war for our wife, another one in France. Gosh, France is just constantly at war. All right, let's end this siege here. All right, that was a big victory in that siege. That gave us a lot of war score. So now let's send our forces here in attempt to break this siege off at our capital. These are 2 rather sizable armies here split. Now, we could cross the river to try to engage them. Here's the first battle. And the good thing is our allies have joined as well, and this is a very large battle. But we have them outnumbered, also when it comes to quality of troops. And they are retreating, we are pursuing, and a victory is ours. All right. There's just so much going on. I'm going to hit pause here real quick. And now I think we will send our troops to Sablé, where I think the course of action there will be to siege down that rebel fortress, or continue that siege with our allies. We've kind of split the rebels. They're retreating all over the place. Divine focus. Since about a month back, I've been having a recurring dream in which I discuss theology with St. Catherine, St. Matthew, and Jesus. Perhaps they have chosen me to spread their word and reward me with their blessings in turn. I will pray to Jesus. So invigorated for 10 years, huge health boost, and 24 stress goes down. We've got St. Catherine for knowledge and wisdom, St. Matthew for wealth and abundance, but we are going to pray to Jesus himself. All right, now getting back to our siege here. We got 19 days left. Portuguese are besieging north. Aragon over here as well. All right, so another major siege battle won. Kind of thinking, do I want to head up north and siege down Rouen? That might not be a bad one. I mean, they're going to come down here and engage. Or we can head down south to here. Let's take a look here real quick. That is a fort level 7. Up here, that is a fort level 6 in Rouen. But of course, we've got the Bretonnian army down there. So we're going to send our troops down here in hopes that maybe we'll even catch them and engage them in the field somewhere. Invalidated. The Independence War has ended. It was no longer valid to continue. And, well, perfect. Okay. So now we can move to the Castilians and deal with them. So we will go in here. We will call our allies to war. Aragon against the Castilians. Yeah, we'll call her in. I mean, why not? And, of course, Portugal. The Castilian War, he won't. That's okay. I think Aragon will already do us well. And we will now send these troops just down here across the river to Bordeaux and deal with it there. All right, King Alphonse has joined the war. And now the Portuguese have joined the war against Castile as well, which, of course, that will be of big strategic interest for our Iberian allies, to say the least. We're going to sit right here. We're going to wait for the Aragonese to come from the south. And I think we're just going to move right in here right away. So their forces are going to unite. So that war against the Castilians has been invalidated. Okay. So, that has all been taken care of pretty quickly. Now we can actually send our troops back over here and help our wife against the Burgundians. I think that is the best course of action here right now. I mean, that is a very large host there. Not sure I'm all too keen on joining that. Our alliance has expired. And we have a lot of people dying, a lot of expiring alliances. Let's actually take a look at that. We are allied. Geoffrey of York, Agnes of France, Duchess of Portugal, and Prince Philip. But no longer Aragon. So let's just hang out here real quick. I do want to see what this host does, which is rather large. Yeah, this is not exactly a war that I want to engage in too much. We need to rebuild our forces. A dedication to our faith is known far and wide, and we ransom out a lot of prisoners. Let's see, they're just chasing and moving around. I just as soon the Burgundians lose that claim. This, on the other hand, is one that I'm more interested in fighting. Let's see. I would be delighted if your daughter Adelaide would come visit my court in Rossi. Of course. We'll send her there. So there's this war to the north. That's significantly more winnable for us than dealing with these large forces to the south. And as such, I think what we will do is we will send troops up north here to deal with that. Secret is exposed. Countess Marie having copulated with her lover Girard. Crime cannot go unpunished. So we're going to head up north because Rouen is under siege. And we have a new perk here. And strategist, we gain strategist, so that gets diplomacy +1, martial +3. Enemy fatal casualties +25%, and crosses water without advantage penalties. Yes. So we will unlock that, and then we will go down the gallant route as well. All of these things are, of course, very important for us to lead our wars. And I'm not too worried about France being splintered here a little bit. Maybe I would be if this was going on to the next generation. But that is not exactly the intent. So I'm not overly concerned with that. See, will we catch them before? No, we won't. But we will catch them here because they are not moving fast enough. And the Duchess Stephanie of Flanders is leading her forces in this battle that we are going to win. If we look at our victory totals here, our details, it was pretty good victory. So now we will send these guys up north and may as well just start sieging down some of their territory bit by bit. Again, I'm not overly concerned with the Burgundians at this point. We're going to leave that to our wife just because, man, those are some powerful allies they have. If we look at the overall, see, they're at 12,000. We're at 13,000, so it's changed a little bit. I guess in theory we could move south against the Burgundians. But, you know, they're gonna win some sieges down here, and that's gonna change a lot of that again. There's just some massive forces that I am not overly interested in taking on. We'll try to take down the Flandersians? People from Flanders first. Adelaide's been asking me for a toy boat for a long time, and I told her I would get one for her in 3 months if she displayed more focus in her studies. She responded that she was fine with her current dedication to her studies, reward or no reward. We all learn to live with our lot in life. So she keeps the content trait, which is fine. Henry van Vlaanderen has a claim on the Duchy of Flanders, and he has joined. Aha, our court. That's interesting. A betrothed can marry, so we will finish off that. Just to tighten our bonds to the Portuguese. And now we're going to win this siege here very, very shortly. There we go. Next one done. We inherited a new title. Or a new holding. And we're going to move on to the next one. Again, we were just sieging them down bit by bit by bit. And I am still waiting, desperately, impatiently waiting for some type of crusade to kick off. Defeat the Upper Burgundian claim. Well, that's an unfortunate one. My feeble wife, Queen Agnes, has been released from her imprisonment at the hands of Count Palatine Otto and is free once again. So that was obviously the issue there. And now we are just dealing with this war with Flanders. And that's really it. So this should be a victory for us relatively soon. If we look at France now, their borders, you can see Viennois is now independent. Other than that, it's really not of massive concern. A child of my dynasty, my daughter-in-law Dolce, has given birth to a son. Since the little one is part of the Plantagenet dynasty, should be blessed with a good name, Henry. Yes, another Henry comes into the Plantagenet dynasty, as we are close to winning this siege here, and then we're just going to head up north here to Bruges and kind of maybe finally end this frustrating little rebellion. Now, the nice thing with all these sieges is that each time we also gain some coins, some loot. Here you can see that when you're besieging, that's also part of the gig. So we're going to get 35 more gold in a few days when we win the siege, and then we can move over to Bruges and kind of take care of the rest, which really should be take care of there. Oh, no, that's all that was needed. 100% war score here. That'll end that. Let's see, we've got another populist uprising that we're going to have to be dealing with here in France in the not too terribly distant future. So we do need to keep that in mind. It's just going to be a constant struggle with these French holdings. You can see how many are going to join that. They can send an ultimatum in 6 months. Let's see, is there a direct faction leader? It doesn't look like it. But it's going to be quite the uprising we get to deal with. Now, one thing we do have, we can usurp the principality, which would cost us 250 gold, but we gain 300 prestige, so we will usurp that title. We've got titles we could create, including the Kingdom of Wales. We have the 400 gold and the de jure counties to do so. But I kind of just want to gobble up the rest here. We are currently working on fabricating more claims in Ireland as well. That is the big goal here, is to unify the British Isles. The question, of course, being that Richard, who's already 62 right now, is whether or not he will, you know, live long enough to be able to do any of that. And the big frustration for me is that aside from the crusade that came right in the beginning, that was an Iberian crusade, at a time where we were in civil war, essentially, with our brother John, and the timing was just bad, there has been no other crusade, which is very, very unfortunate, and something that I really hope changes relatively soon. We will not stand for foreign oppression of Occitan traditions any longer. Fine, if you need. Our time is now at hand. Gives us the right to rule ourselves. So we could give it to them. And basically, it changes a lot. It's County of La Bourde. Or you want freedom or death. So go to war again against another rebellious uprising. Let's see here, we've got that army sitting up here. We've got plenty of money in the bank. So I think it's time to fight against yet another rebellion. We also have stalwart leader we can add now, so that gives us +4 to prowess. So we will unlock that. And now we can raise all of our armies. And go up here, and let's see, we've got some allies we can call in. Of course, Portugal, as well as France. Both of which will, of course, be very, very important to helping us win this. It is time to face our enemies in the field, as the French and the Portuguese will join our forces here in central France. And that is a quick and easy, decisive victory. And now we will, let's see, who will we siege down first? Who is the most troublesome? We have this large army here. I think that is the force we will go after. Yes, I think that makes the most strategic sense. Whether or not we're able to catch them in time. Looks like we are favorites to win this battle. And we outnumber them heavily. And this will be another quick victory as it was. Alright, now let's look. We've got the Normandy to the north. And all these little holdings all across. So we've got that army kind of kicking around there. I think what we will do is we will just siege down some of these duchy holdings first. I mean, that already gave us a huge war score boost there with that victory. We can see the French and Portuguese are kind of chasing them, which is great. Them harrying them in the field and continuously attacking them. Greetings, King Richard. I have prowled through the documents. Perfect. We have another claim in Ireland. But we're going to wait with more claims just because we're losing a ton of money. There was another good victory in the field from our allies there, as we have about 40 days left in this siege. Of course, we're dealing with the sieges down to the south. This force is just sieging one after another. Curious to see what these guys do now. The French and Portuguese, are they going to sail down the coast? They are. So it looks like they're going to head down to deal with these guys. And our forces can be up here to take on the northern rebels. All right, we're going to engage them over here. These are the Normans. I don't think they're going to be able to get out of the county in time. They are not. So it's time for us to win here, and then we'll siege down that little vassal there as well, which will not take long at all. And we'll just siege our way back up north here, picking these guys off one by one. And see down south here, we can see it. They're the French and the Portuguese. They're just sieging those back. And now we're going to send them over here. Siege down that holding. And just kind of pluck them off one by one as our war score continues to tick towards, well, the inevitable victory. All right, a couple days left. Now we're going to head over and take that capital holding. We're at 86% war score. And we can see our allies, they are chasing down the rebellious forces across the south. This is exactly the type of ally AI behavior that I would always like to see in CK3. And there you have it. Siege 1, Rebellion 1. And overall, aside from the Burgundian uprising in France, which I'm not overly concerned with, Richard did really well, dealing with a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, a lot of wars being invalidated, which we've faced that ourselves before. Now, I've got a ton of prisoners here to deal with, but I will deal with all of them off camera just because that was 23 of them. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button. Until next time, we will see how long Richard's life will last. He's 64. Let's see how old Richard can get in this series. So until next time, I'm Ram Builder Guy, and I will talk to you soon.